We are live, sir.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to call to order a meeting of the Summers Board of Selectmen. Today is Thursday, March 19th, 2026, 6 p.m. We're in Town Hall Auditorium. Meetings can be streamlined. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So with regards to roll call, we have Brian Wissinger, our CFO, on my right. We have Kim LaFleur, Ops Director, on my left. We have Selectman Meyer on my right, Selectman Schmidt on my left. We have Chief Stovall from the Fire Department, and Todd Rowland, DPW Director, Frank Poirier, Deputy EMD Director. Let's see. That's about it. So, public comment. Do we have public comment this evening?
I'm going to shock you and say just, hey, thank you.
What do we owe this guy?
Good thing I was sitting down.
I'm sorry?
It's a good thing you're sitting down.
Great, thank you. Presentation by First Selectman. I just have two things to mention. First of all, Fire Chief Ray Stovall was kind enough to invite me to a meeting last night. It's a periodic meeting they have with the Talon County Fire Chiefs Association. It was hosted by the Summers Fire Department. They had over 20 departments from Talon County represented, along with many other people related to the fire mission. It was a great event, and it's fun to be there, and the food was pretty good. Thank you, Chief Stovall. Also wanted to mention that this Saturday I will be involved with a Eagle Scout ceremony for Teddy Durandon. As you recall, he was here probably about 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, we remember him.
And he talked about his treasure chest donation at the shed at the transfer station. He was going to fix it up. It's had some problems with mice invasions and deterioration and in bad shape. So he just basically stripped it and did a great job of repairing it.
Yeah, it looked good when I was there. At the,
So I'll be attending that ceremony at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning in this room, as a matter of fact.
I told him he did a great job, so that's why I'm not going to go Saturday.
Great, okay. I wish I knew that's all you had to do.
Well, no, I told him. I told him personally that he'd done a good job,
Yeah.
and I appreciated what he had to do.
Terrific, okay. Consent agenda. Appointment of Robert Wheeler to the Zoning Board of Appeals as an alternate member with a term expiring December 22nd, 2026. Jen Roy approached me and mentioned, and she's the zoning enforcement officer, mentioned that she also a liaison to the Zoning Board of Appeals. She mentioned they're having trouble getting quorums there. Due to the fact that some of their members are in travel or just not in town or just not showing up. So the alternate position is very important to be filled. Bob Wheeler is someone that many of us know. He worked for the town for at least 20-some years in the fire department, and very well respected individual.
I'm happy to make a motion to appoint Bob Wheeler as a alternate member with the ZBA effective as soon as possible.
And the term expiring on 12/22/26, right?
Didn't say that.
Okay. That's all right.
I'll second that.
Very good. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have an opportunity to add urgent agenda items. We don't think we have any of those.
No.
I'm aware of.
I have none.
Good. Finance, transfers and appropriations, we have none.
Nope.
CFO's finance report.
First, I gave everybody a monthly report through the end of February. Budget is on track, I would say, is a good way to describe it. There's a couple of line items that looks like we might return some pretty decent funds at the end of the year, but still kind of holding out. You never know what's gonna happen.
You want to mention
down
who
the
they are,
stretch.
because they might want to quickly go out and spend their money before the end.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't mention who they were.
That's good news.
One of them is sitting in the audience. I don't. Why are you looking at me like that, Todd? It's you.
All the utility bills haven't come in yet.
Exactly. That's why I said it's too early to say. But it does look like departments are holding the line really well. So keep up the good work, everybody. I believe it was beginning or late last week, we received notification from the state that we did receive the Summers Elementary School HVAC grant. It's a 52.5% reimbursement rate up to about, I think it was like $7.8 million. So now we have two mandatory state meetings to follow up with after that. One is on Monday, and then the other will be scheduled after that meeting on Monday. If all goes to plan, I think we can all say we're hopeful to go to bid by the end of April. Any questions on that?
Good news.
Sounds good.
So then, this week, we have been busy submitting testimony on various bills that have been raised at the House and Senate. Karen Neal has submitted testimony on two different bills, both submitted in favor on. One was House Bill 5407. It's reimbursement from the state for the veterans exemptions. The law that was put into effect, now that they're seeing the fiscal impact to towns on that, a bill has been proposed to reimburse towns for the loss that is happening to the grand list statewide.
And what's the projected impact on this town?
On this town was over $7 million in assessment.
That's a lot of money.
It's about $260,000 in tax revenue.
Significant.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Not that we don't support veterans, just
Right,
we don't
and that's what the
support
testimony
mandatory
says is we do
mandates from the legislature.
we
unfunded.
support we support veterans and we support what they have done, but the financial impact, and I mean just in a small town like Summers, $260,000. Large towns are feeling even worse.
And they passed it without a lot of questions to the towns. They just
Right.
passed.
Right, and I think they estimated something like 1,200 veterans statewide, and there's been over 2,400, and they only received information from less than 50% of the state. So,
And these are 100% disabled,
yeah,
permanently disabled veterans.
correct,
With no cap, you could own $1 million house
exactly,
and be tax exempt,
And
which
be
is
ex-
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
The other one was on House Bill 5442, which is just a language modification bill. When they passed the bill last year that covers solar farms and set the rate of which we would tax them at, the wording in there basically makes all solar farms statewide tax exempt. And so they've introduced a bill to correct that language.
It was probably a mistake.
It was probably an oversight. That's what happens when you create a bill at the 11th hour and you don't click the review button on Word. And then I submitted testimony on Senate Bill 388, which is requesting that the governor properly fund the Mohegan Pequot grant. The grant was created in 1994. It was originally funded at $88 million in 1994. Most recently, it was only funded at $54 million. So kind of the reverse direction that you would expect it to go.
And the revenues have increased
The
substantially.
revenues have definitely increased. So the bill is requesting that the legislature and the governor fund that grant at $152 million, which is what they estimate it should be at this point, based on inflationary growth. And then the last thing I have for you is the assessor in Canterbury raised an issue about motor vehicle pricing at the beginning of the week to the assessors group statewide, and asked if anybody else was noticing issues with specifically with like farm and combination and commercial trucks not being priced correctly. So Karen did a download of the town's vehicles that fit those categories. So far, she's got 1,600 vehicles to review. So far, she's done about 200. It's been about $160,000 in assessment we found so far that we've had to adjust. So we're anticipating about $500,000 worth of $500,000 worth of assessment adjustment by the time she goes through them all. But they're mostly vehicles that were they were priced as just a cab and chassis only, so they never added like the dump body or the refrigerator body or anything like that that grossly increases the value of these vehicles. So Karen's got a lot of work ahead of her.
Obviously.
Great.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Yep.
That's good. Thank you. Updates from boards and commissions. I think we have
Scheduled payments.
Oh, scheduled payments, that's right.
Yeah, scheduled payments.
Scheduled payments.
I'm happy to make a motion to approve the payments in the amount of $377,819.62.
I think we had in this payment, we had an excess cost payment for the board,
Yeah,
and I think we had requested some more information.
For the
that we've
Board
not
of
yet
Education.
received. Yeah, that we've not yet received, so I think we were going to table that amount until we're able to get a follow-up from.
Do you want that amount to put
Yeah,
into the
please.
motion? Let me see. Let me look it up real
I
quick.
think it's about 6 different items I need.
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 different ones.
3.
Total is $120,181.54.
So what should be the amount that?
So what should be the amount we approved then, Brian? Instead of, and if not 377,
$257,638.08.
okay,
Say that again.
257, 638,
$257,638.08.
8 cents. All right, so I'll change my motion then to approve the payments authorization to $257,638.08.
Second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? And that includes the tabling of those.
Those items, yeah, the excess cost items.
Yeah.
Okay. Special cost payments, right. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Want me to sign anything here?
Yeah, here it is right here.
We just have to modify the amount. We have to handwrite it,
Right.
the new amount.
Okay. Okay. There you go. Updates and boards and commissions, we have none. Old business, none. New business. Fire Department Chief Stovall. Yeah, I asked the chief to report on an electrical fire. attended to last week by the fire department, just to give you a flavor of the complexity of some of the work that they have to do. And the preparation and training it involves is pretty significant. So,
Absolutely.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. So last Wednesday, we were dispatched to a electrical fire at Osborne. It was actually dispatched as a commercial structure fire with an electrical fire in the tunnel. The tunnel runs under the street from the boiler building all the way underneath Osborne Prison. We were dispatched at 12:09. Took us a minute to get on the road at 12:10. En route, I called the facilities director, Paul. He said that he believes it's a working fire. He is an ex-volunteer firefighter. He's in charge of all the facilities there. He said he has an 820-volt power line that's running underground in the tunnel that shorted out, arced, created an explosion, blew the manhole covers off. And again, he thought it was a working fire. I got on scene at 12:18 with nothing showing and established command. Just so everybody knows, Osborne is a huge facility. We're all pretty familiar with it, but it's this whole area here. The incident was, I know it's...
You're not familiar from this view, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, this doesn't work on the TVs, so we'll have to look back here.
It's fine.
This is the boiler building. This is where the incident was. It was underground between here. So some of the initial concerns we had, there's roughly 1,175 inmates at all times at Osborne, with during the day about 426 staff members. Again, that was an 820-volt power line, the main power line going to all of Osborne. Concerns initially were smoke spread. If that tunnel goes directly to the prisons, we're worried about smoke spread going in, having to move, obviously, the guards would have to move prisoners from one area to another. And then another thing that we were worried about when I set up the command post, I noticed that there was a generator on. So, facilities had initially isolated the power coming in. The generator was then feeding 420 volts to the prison. We had to make sure that that was going through a different channel rather than the tunnel before we could even send crews underground.
That's a separate building.
What was going on? Well, as I said, the generator is next to the boiler building, and it runs in a separate underground channel. So we had to confirm that with facilities before we can even commit crews underground. So on our first alarm assignment, it was Summers. We had got squad 146 and 246 on the air. The ambulance was on another call in town. I was at the station by myself dealing with ring removal at the time with dispatch. We had Sugar Pines coming mutual aid. Their chief and engine 52 showed up. They're typically showing up for rapid intervention team, but they're first due, so they ended up being my entry team. Hazardville Truck 33 and East Long Meadow came with engine 3 and their assistant chief. So some of the positions we had to fill at just this incident that luckily turned out to be nothing. Once I established command, Chief Nolan from Shaker Pines got there. I put him in charge of operations. His engine 52 got there. They were Recon 1, so they were the crew that was actually going into the tunnel in full PPE with meters to find out if we had an incident or not. East Long Meadows assistant chief showed up. He was designated as a safety officer. Squad 246 was our water supply because they were second due. They had a close call, and I'll highlight that in a little while. They were grabbing the hydrant at the water tower, which is a 500,000 gallon water tower. Squad 146 was after that. They actually got designated RIT for the recon team, and East Long Meadows engine was fire attack. So the plan for fire attack in this incident was stretching 3-inch supply lines through a large gate that they have to lower pipes down underground, and then hand carrying high-rise packs underground for this incident. Just a quick setup, and it's kind of cheesy graphics. This is the building over top. We ended up with Hazardville's ladder truck on the left side of the building, called the Bravo side of the building. In front of it was Squad 146, Engine 52, and East Long Meadows engine. So if you look behind you, right here is where we lowered down a story and a half, is where we would have had to lower down the hose. Crews entered here, came across, and walked all the way across. So this is just another view. So the crew got down there with Chief Nolan and his crew. They were able to go to the area where the incident was. Because facilities had secured the power so quick, the fire did not spread. There was no smoke spread. They cleared it with meters. We were able to terminate the incident. While that was going on, and I had Squad 246 getting to this hydrant right by the water tower, there was a water main break there, as you know, the week before. But what happened was when they drained all the water out of the systems and bled all the air out, they did it behind Northern, which is at a lower area, a lower topographical area. Then up here, it trapped air in the hydrant line. So when our guys were taking the hydrant cap off, the 2.5 cap shot off like a cannonball. Luckily, they recognized that there should be no pressurized air coming out of a hydrant, and they were not standing in front of the cap. But it was a close call with broken bones if that hit them. Yeah, so it was a very, very close call. But no harm, no foul. We did let maintenance know. They've since re-bled the system, and we've let them know why this happened. They trapped air in the line.
Wow.
Any questions? Again, it was just it was a no harm, no foul call, but it was a very interesting call, and a lot went into making sure that it was nothing.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys were the saviors.
It went good. Again, we didn't have to do much, but we set everything up, and just a lot goes into a call like that because a lot can go wrong.
Yeah, well, thank you for your
I would think that a fire with toxic smoke under a prison could be a problem.
Absolutely.
Maybe just explain to me what some of the difficulties are with moving prisoners and what kind of training you put your department through.
Absolutely. So we don't actually move prisoners at all. That would be strictly up to the guards. And what we would do in this scenario is they have HVAC systems for the prison. We would have to reverse the HVAC systems, and they actually have large fans there. So our job would be to go in, obviously, stop any fire spread going into the prison, and set up reverse ventilation to keep pushing the smoke the opposite way to keep their people safe while they move the prisoners from one tier to the other. So yeah, we actually train with the prison. We actually go in and do drills. We haven't done one in a couple of years. We're looking to do another one. But over the last 5 years, we've done 2 large-scale drills imitating actual fires there.
So the most recent drill you said was?
That was about 3 years ago. About that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys did a great job.
Thank you, sir.
No, Chief, thank you for this. Nice work. Glad it wasn't a worse situation. But I think it highlights, years ago, Chief Allen would remember, 25, 30 years ago, the prison had their own fire department.
Yeah.
The prison used to have a contract for their own ambulance service with AMR. That's all been eliminated. It's all been placed on the local town. So, it's a huge exposure. There's a lot of complexity there.
Absolutely.
It's a big expense. Back in 1995, the prison bought us some fire apparatus.
Yeah.
We get the pilot money, but the pilot money really, most of that is because a huge piece of our land that should be developed and taxable isn't. It compensates us for that.
Is that apparatus still working?
Is the what?
Is the apparatus from 19?
No, we decommissioned it about, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3-4 years ago? The Rescue One? Yeah.
Who replaces it?
Well, that's my point.
Exactly.
We have this big responsibility. The prison really provides no help. They call on, this was my point earlier with the overdoses. You have the largest state agency, one of them, who relies on one of the smallest towns in the state for complete support for their facility. And again, I'm fine with it because we have capable staff, but there should be funding, that comes along with it and support for training. They should be giving us a stipend every year for training. They should be, providing support with apparatus, support with our air packs, support with our ambulances, and we're getting $180 a call from them out of the ambulances, because they're paying the Medicaid rate. So, it's another example of an unfunded placed out of town. The pilot money really covers us because we can't develop that property. That's what that covers.
And it only covers about 35% of what the value of that property would be if we could develop it and tax it.
Yes.
So that has nothing to do with the operations?
Absolutely.
No. Yeah.
So,
Nope.
But
Absolutely.
I think this is another important reminder. We need to make sure our delegation knows this burden because people forget. When they have a big emergency, when their large facility is under threat and danger, it's the town of Summers that comes to And it's the Summers taxpayers that pay for it. You know, not people living in the other towns and cities that,
That's right. Yeah,
so.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That was great.
Absolutely, no problem. I do have a couple other things. We're having some ambulance issues again. The newest ambulance, which is a 2023 custom works that was delivered by New England Fire and Emergency Apparatus, has been taken out of service and will remain out of service until they can give us a good reason of why it keeps failing. We had an incident today where the liquid spring lowering system would not lower. We were actively loading a patient into it. One of our paramedics got his finger caught between the stretcher and the loading system because we had to physically lift it up, so there was a direct injury because of the failures of this ambulance. Luckily, the member will need no further treatment. But that being out of service, we also have Ambulance 7, our second newest ambulance, out of service also.
Oh my God.
That one went out of service for a DOT. It's a 195, which is essentially an ambulance DOT check. We brought that to Eastford Sales and Service, who normally does our work. They came back and said that it needs $14,000 worth of, roughly $14,000 worth of fixes to pass the DOT and get back on the road.
Wow.
That is obviously a huge chunk of money. So what we decided to do after Ryan is we took the ambulance back. We brought it down to the DPW town garage. We're seeing what we can do in-house to get this fixed. So far, we've got prices for brakes and tires. We have a contract with Sullivan and O'Reilly, so we get parts a little cheaper. And Andy, the town mechanic, is actually going to do some of that work in exchange us labor. I will come back to the board with a full price once they have it. I just wanted to make everybody aware of the issues that we're having.
What have you budgeted for something like this?
We're budgeted $15,000 a year.
Like $20,000.
$20,000 for EMS maintenance alone, and we're already $20,000, I believe, over now.
Yeah.
Without paying this bill?
That is correct, without paying this bill. I have started tracking maintenance on every single vehicle, so I will have a good report when exactly what each apparatus costs. Did you have something?
I do.
Sure.
So, I mean, number one, I think we're going to have to just get this fixed. I mean, I appreciate the effort to save money. I think we should if possible, but at the same time, I mean, we can't drag this out for a month or two. You know, I think it's going to have to be fixed in the next week or two.
Yeah.
We've got one ambulance right now.
Yeah, so I mean, it's our oldest ambulance. It's 10 years old or whatever. So, but I mean, my second concern is with this quote-unquote new ambulance that we bought. And, you know, what are we going to do? I mean, is there a remedy through the Attorney General's office? Is there a remedy, you know, I mean, can we do a press release and just bring to light, you know, to warn other towns? I mean, we'd have to do it through our legal counsel, but I mean, what can we do to put some pressure to get this thing fixed? Because it's unacceptable. It's brand new. And it's been out of service longer than it's been in service.
I do agree. New England Fire and Emergency Apparatus has been extremely good with fixing it for us, and they've been very attentive. We have started a claim with Carmelo from the beginning. They're aware of every single issue that's gone on in case we do have to seek the legal route. I will be talking to Kim more about that because we definitely need to make pushes at this time. The current plan, while both of those ambulances are out, is we still do have the old ambulance 546 that we're getting ready to sell. We can actually get that one back in service. We're hoping to have it back in service by next week. While we wait to get the other ambulances, the only cost for us will be to have it re-inspected by OEMS. We have the only thing we actually took out of it as far as physical equipment was the radios, and we have a technician in-house that can reinstall the radios for us. Probably good. This is our current immediate plan. Andy and Chris over at DPW believe that they can get this ambulance back up and running pretty quick.
Okay.
Well, thank you for all
Thank
your
you,
extra
Chief.
work.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else? Oh, actually,
Yeah, the next item is,
You have the next
can't get out of here yet.
you got the next one.
I
Yeah.
do. So I would like to make a recommendation to the board to hire Derek Wise as a full-time firefighter EMT at a rate of $29.18, the correct rate according to the collective bargaining association agreement. He has been with us about a year. He comes from Collins Aerospace and Sub-Base. We did an interview of 5 different people. 2 of them were part-timers, and 3 were volunteers. Everybody did very well in the interviews, but he stood out as doing the best by far on the oral board and the written interview. With the board's permission, I'd like to extend him a job offer starting on the 22nd, was it, Brian? I don't have it.
Yeah, 22nd March.
22nd, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Need a motion on that.
Well, I'm happy to make a motion to approve the transition of part-time firefighter Eric Weiss, is that
Yes,
correct? To full-time status effective March 22nd, 2026, at the rate established at the collective bargaining agreement between Summers Firefighters Local 4284 and the Town of Summers.
Excellent.
Second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you very much.
New steward for the union. We have to update our record.
Tim O'Keefe is a
Okay,
president, yeah.
that's what I thought it was. All right.
Okay, Todd.
I already voted for you, Todd.
Shut the mic off.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First thing I have is, we're on the agenda. I come before you to request that you make me the permanent emergency management director. As you recall, I served in the capacity as deputy EMD from 2020 until 2024. When I became the interim EMD after a former EMD resigned. That continued until last year when we added the EMD position to the then fire chief, in addition to his role as chief and fire marshal. With the resignation of our former fire chief, the EMD position is open. Since stepping down as land use director, in addition to me being director of public works, I have the capacity to take on this role far greater than before. I have the bandwidth now to do it. I do have all of the certifications required for the job and required in the job description. I've talked with privately with the fire chief, police administrator, deputy EMD, and all in favor of this change. It just continues what we've been doing to try to build the emergency management department. Currently, the EMD salary line item is budgeted at $31,200 annually. My request a part-time salary is $14,400 annually for me as EMD, and continue to pay the deputy the $12,000 as deputy EMD. That still leaves a balance in that salary line item. So I respectfully request you make me the permanent emergency management director effective March 22nd, which would be Sunday.
And your letter and the attachments become part of the record, correct? This
Yes,
I hope so.
job description,
You just read most of it.
certifications.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we get all of it. That's
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
it.
well, you
Yeah,
read
it was part of the
about 90% of it.
Great,
agenda for tonight's meeting.
perfect.
No, thank you for agreeing to step forward. I fully support this, and I'm glad that, we have you and you're able to serve in this role, so.
I'm happy to do it. I actually enjoy this.
We're lucky we have you because you're experienced, you know the job, you've got all the connections, and everyone comes to you anyway, so it's,
I'm happy to make a motion then to appoint Todd Rowland as emergency manager director.
Should probably include in their salary.
Yeah.
You want me to approve the
The
salary?
effective date.
right.
So what's the salary increase?
$14,400 annually,
$14,400 annually,
effective March 22nd.
effectively March 22nd.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have a request for this board to agree to sell a small right-of-way adjacent to 24 Aspen Ridge. We were approached by the owners of 24 Aspen Ridge back in August of last year with this request. After they approached us, I reached out to the town attorney, and he told us what we needed to do to move this forward. It's an unused right-of-way, 50 feet wide, that looks like it was going to be a road going into the property behind 24 and 30 for a possible subdivision. That never happened after Aspen Ridge was built out.
Is there a length on the right-of-way? 50 feet wide,
It's
approximately.
50 feet wide, about 97 feet long.
So nobody's using it for that purpose?
No, actually 24 has been maintaining it forever, mowing it and keeping up with the plantings and what have you.
So basically, they just want to control it and
Yeah, they want it to be their land, we'll get a little tax money out of it. The process was, I had talked to Karen, and she drafted a legal description as well as a deed. I had Jeff Ward, our town engineering consultant, draft this property parcel map. I brought this to this body back in November, and you instructed me to go before the planning commission with an 8-24 referral. We did that on November 13th, and the planning commission gave a favorable referral at the meeting to sell this piece of property. The attorney then tells us the next step is for the Board of Selectmen to approve this thing, schedule a public hearing to gather public input, and then immediately after the public hearing to have a town meeting. It does require 2 legal notices, so we would like to do this May
May
the second
21st.
meeting, Friday,
May 21st.
May 21st.
yeah, it says May 21st here.
Yeah, when we'd, that'll give us time to schedule the public hearing and do the 2 10-day legal notices that are required. The folks that expressed interest, I did send letters to every abutting property owner, and the only ones that bid on it were 24 Aspen Ridge. They bid $1,000 for this parcel.
What's our cost going to be for the sale? I mean, it sounds like a lot. I mean, I know these legal notices and all these things, I mean, they all cost money. Like, what do we,
Legal notices.
engineer had to draw stuff up, I mean,
Yeah, I think that was.
Depending on how
$250.
well, I'm just saying, I mean, for well, quote unquote $1,000, I mean, we're going to spend $750 to quote unquote make 1,000, plus all of your time and,
Oh,
Legal
sure.
notices, depending on how long they are,
Right.
could be a few
Oh,
$100
finished
each.
drafting, yeah.
I mean, can we assess the fees to them as well?
I think that's a good idea.
We'd have to ask them, I don't know.
I don't think we have to ask them, I mean, we would have to approve the sale.
Prove the sale based, contingent on them paying the fee.
I mean, I think it's fair that they, I mean, they want this, I don't,
Right.
we have these parcels all over town.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if people want to come in and buy them, it should be, I mean,
$1,000 plus the fees.
plus the fees.
Okay.
You know, if it's $750 in fees,
Yeah, I don't see,
they should pay the fees.
I don't see an issue with that.
I mean, if you buy a house,
Oh,
right, you pay all
got
the
closing
fees,
costs, yeah.
all the closing costs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fine, I support this, just,
Yeah, if you make the motion, the $1,000 plus the fees, we'll figure out what the fees are.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can catalog
Let
and
them know.
itemize them, no problem.
I mean, it's a lot more than I thought going into this. I think a lot more than all
Well,
of us
the
thought.
work was a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
Because they do one thing and the next thing comes, they're, okay, you gotta do this, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, a lot of work.
As long as you don't involve the Department of Transportation, right?
Pardon?
As long as you don't involve DOT.
Oh, well, that's another story for all the other things I got going on. That's a 5-year project.
We can just change the motion then to just add plus fees.
Yeah, $1,000 plus our costs.
Okay, so, you want me to say plus our costs, or is it our costs?
Yeah,
And we'll
Plus our works.
itemize the cost.
yeah, we'll itemize them and get back to the prospective buyers.
All right, so the request would be to sell the right-of-way at number 20 Aspen Ridge, adjacent to number 24 Aspen Ridge, to Joseph, is it Marinaccio?
Yep.
And Marissa Camerata for $1,000, plus they would pay for the fees.
Our costs, yeah.
Yeah, the fees.
Yep.
And set a public hearing date for May 21st, 2026.
Second that.
Got it. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Wissinger.
Yep. So with the recent promotion of, from captain to chief for Ray Stovall, the union contract allows firefighters to earn and accrue comp time in lieu of overtime payments upon being promoted to chief and being a regular non-union employee. The town does not recognize comp time, only the fire union. So based on the contract, we would pay out the remaining balance of 62 hours at the overtime rate. So calculated out payout rate, $58.85 an hour. That's based on his rate of pay at time of promotion times 1.5. It's 62 hours at that, so the total is $3,648.70 to get these hours off the books.
So I guess my only question is, why is it paid at the overtime rate?
That's how it's determined, or that's how it's determined in the union contract. It's earned at overtime and it's paid at overtime.
Yeah, but typically comp time, how it works, so say you earn 40 hours of comp time, say you work 40 hours overtime, you would have 60 hours of comp time in the books.
Ours, I believe it's hour for hour. I don't know the calculation, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure how Danny kept track of it.
Yeah,
I've never done a payout for
It's not hour for hour because it's overtime.
right, it's overtime.
So say you worked 40 hours, you would get 60 hours of comp time. So we wouldn't pay that as overtime because the overtime's already figured in. So I mean, that's how comp time's done.
I don't know how it's
Well,
tracked
could
in
you
our
just say
system, to be
then,
honest with you.
pay his comp time then?
I don't know how it's tracked in our
Well, I
system, to
think,
be
I
honest
mean,
with
we have to
you.
get back to us then.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
we just
I mean-
table this and bring it
I mean, I'm fine with it, it's just, I think though.
we want to make sure we have the right
figured
calculation.
out properly.
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't be hour for hour, because if you're a union member under the FLSA, you're gonna compute it at time and a half. It's how you're gonna earn the accrual.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't be $3,648?
It would just be paid at straight time.
it's straight time.
Yeah.
If we're accruing it at 1.5, if we're accruing it
I
at
believe
hour
it
for hour.
was 58 hours. I think that was
Yeah,
the
62
total
is what it was at.
with the time not included. So,
Included. So we wouldn't pay it at time and a half, we would just pay it at straight time.
yeah, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's how comp time's done.
No,
All right, we'll come back with a new number.
Makes sense to me.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, I think we just pay it at straight time, but let's confirm it, because I don't
Yeah,
want to underpay
yeah,
it.
I'll confirm it, and
Okay.
yeah, we'll get it taken care of.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
All right.
Great. Okay. End of the agenda, approval of minutes of the meeting of March 5, 2026. Special meeting for Selectmen.
I'd have to make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 5th, 2026 special meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
So I appreciate it. I'll take all the motions.